welcome to Get a Shift On, a podcast all about healthcare career change. I'm very pleased this week to welcome back for part 2, Gemma. We spoke a couple of weeks ago, and thank you so much for coming back.
That's all right. Thanks for having me back. It was really great to chat with you a few weeks ago. So yeah, this is going to be a great chat again.
And time just went, so I have no doubt we'll do the same today. I'll start the same morning that I started with last time. Gemma is a sex and intimacy coach. So if that isn't something that you want to hear about, and it probably will get fairly graphic, I'm sure, then please do switch off, and I have no problem with you doing that. If not, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Gemma, for those that weren't here last time, can you just start very briefly at the beginning? Where did it all start, and how have you got to where you are now?
Yeah. So I used to be a veterinary nurse for 19 years, and it's a complete change to what I do now. But back in 2006, my husband and I, we were just completely not seeing each other. We were arguing a lot. And then it got to a point, I can't remember what date it was actually, I think it was June, in 2006, that a dog nearly died because of me. And at that point, I just thought, right, we need to sort something out. So I went home, I said to Darren, right, we need to completely go on a long holiday, and actually it ended up a backpacking trip around the world. So we did. We went to South Africa, China, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, LA, back home again. And during that time in Thailand, I found yoga, and it just changed my life, really. I bought a mat in New Zealand an idiot's guide to yoga when we got to Malaysia. And I just fell in love with it. And I just thought, right, this is what I need. And it really, really helped us to get back to being a couple again, because we were not talking, we were arguing all the time, like communication had gone, intimacy had gone, everything had gone. So by taking a backpacking trip around the world, being really brash and just do it, it saved our relationship. And then we came back and I actually got my teaching qualification in yoga. And it kind of all started from there, because I knew then that my relationship survived and repaired itself through wellbeing techniques and through yoga, meditation, breath work, that I thought, oh, I can change this and I can use it for relationships. And then back in 2012, we suffered a miscarriage, but then went on to have 2 beautiful children. And it then helped again. It helped, breathwork helped to get through the miscarriage. So it all kind of interlinked. And I just thought, right, I can do this with relationships, because now at this point in June, we are 26 years down the line, married 16. And yeah, it's just changed our lives. And even Darren now does breath work, meditation, absolutely loves it. He was very skeptical at first. But yeah, I left the vets in 2020. I was always going to, at that point, change my career. But I did teach yoga on and off, or in line with veterinary nursing for, I don't know, about 5 years or so. And then, just went full in. And now I'm a relationship or sex and relationship coach, using all the wellbeing modalities to get people to communicate, talk to each other, listen to each other. Active listening doesn't actually happen that often. And if you have trust issues, and then you've got intimacy issues. So all 3 of those, if you don't have one right, then the others are going to be out of sync. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's important people understand where someone starts to get to where they are now. And I think I have a wash of questions actually from just that very short 2-minute snippet of your life again, which we may or may not touch on. And I can't remember if we did last time, so apologies if we do cover some of it. The backpacking just disappearing off, I think, is such a great thing for people to do. And I know it's not there for everybody. What did you have to put in place to be able to suddenly just up and leave?
Not much, because Darren was renting at the time. Actually, no, I think he was he at home? I think he must have been at home, and I was at home, although I was pet sitting a lot. So I was pet sitting in line with veterinary nursing. So really, I had my base at my parents', but I was never really there because I was always pet sitting. So I'd have a week looking after a dog, then the next week I'd have a cat. So it would kind of both be like that. Yeah, it took us, I suppose, 6 months to actually save enough to have a 7-month backpacking trip around the world. And it did take that long to actually put things into place, as in flights, booking all the flights and finding out where we were going to stay in each place, but only for the first few nights. And then it was just quite easy after that of going round. It's a bit like Race Across the World. I would love to do that again.
Yeah, we would. Yeah,
Love
we've
to go
said
and
that.
do
Yeah. Bye, kids.
yeah. But at that point, we didn't have any commitments. We didn't have any ties. We didn't have a mortgage, no kids or anything like that. So it was a lot easier. And we just thought, we do want to be together. We do want to marry each other. So we do want to stay together. What do we need to do to actually be drastic enough for us to actually think, right, this is going to save our relationship? And it was hard because you go to these countries, certainly China. When we went to South Africa, that was like the first place we went to. And because I'm browny blonde in my hair, when we went to South Africa, it was summer there because we went in October. And so it meant that my hair went really blonde. And then we went to China, and because that was Northern Hemisphere, it was winter. Everyone was just a bit like, whoa, you're weird. you're Western. Everyone was just a bit strange. Yeah. We were looking, because we went to the non-backpacking or non-touristy places. And yeah, that was really difficult actually, because of just communicating with each other, trying to buy train tickets and actually trying to write in Chinese. We're trying to help ourselves using Lonely Planet and Rough Guides. I don't even know if you can still get those.
Yeah.
You probably can. But using those and actually really trying hard to book the flights and train tickets and all that lot together, and then finding out that nobody really cared about you, nobody really wanted to talk to you. So that was really difficult. So again, we're trying to repair our relationship, but at the same time, we're chucking all this stress on us to get around places. But it was the best time. Yeah, I just hope my children do it.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's just incredible.
I can't wait for my kids to be at that point where they can go and travel too.
Yeah.
As you were traveling, obviously you've kind of alluded to the fact it was hard to write in Chinese and do those sorts of things. Did you find yourselves arguing together? And was that helpful, or was that all part of the process for you?
Yeah, it was all part of the process, because even in the first few days of being in Africa, we went on safari and we were camping out under the stars. And even just then, we felt different towards each other, like good different. We felt that no pressure. Obviously, both, being a veterinary nurse at that point, I was a veterinary nurse, head nurse for a branch surgery with, I think, 5 or 6 people under me. So I was really stressed out and I needed that time away. And my body doesn't go, when it gets stressed. My hair falls out, or something else in my body does something. Not that I actually know that I was stressed. And actually, I didn't really know my body at that point either. It only took when I had children to actually know my body. It's so weird that in your 20s, you're just like, whatever. You're not connected.
It all works.
Again, that goes back to like the 9 to 5. That it's not really set up, and being controversial here, it's not really set up for a woman, which I think we covered last time.
We
actually. Did. But yeah, it was more the arguments needed to happen for us to figure out what was next. And it actually did. It worked. And it made us both actively listen a lot more, use I statements a lot more, and really figure out together what the issue was, whether or not it was me at certain points, whether it was him at certain points, whether it was both of us niggling each other, not listening. And yeah, then it made us come back to think, right, we are strong now. We can do this. And this is what we want.
We did talk about the 9 to 5 last time, and I'm quite happy to be controversial. It doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't really work. I think it's a bit of a miss and a bit of a misnomer. Along with that, I think so is the perfect relationship. So I want to get a little bit personal, if you don't mind. Obviously, relationship was quite on the rocks. You moved away. How is it now? Do you still argue? And do you think that you have a perfect relationship?
No one has a perfect relationship because there isn't. That doesn't exist.
Just thought I'd put that out there. I thought that was the case. Yeah.
No, we don't argue. We do disagree, but when we do disagree, both of us will always say, right, let's sort it out now. Even if the kids are around, whatever it is, we are sorting it out right now, because so many people, and I see it with my coaching, so many people argue all the time. And it's the same argument that goes round and round and round. And one of you isn't listening, or the other one's not communicating how they should be or how they really feel. They're just kind of skirting around the subject. So when I notice something's off with him, or he notices something's off with me, or I'm just a bit niggly, it's like, right, sort this out right now. And then it's done. It's over with. It's fine. It's sorted. Have a hug. Have a hug longer than 20 seconds because that then sorts your dopamine out. And then it's done. So there's just no point in going over the same argument, but everybody does because they just cannot find the words and they feel not seen and heard. That's the issue when it comes to arguments. They just, can't figure it out. But because we'd gone through all that, we had then been able to figure out, and because we've been together so long and we work together as well, we're in the business together. So we're actually with each other literally 24 hours a day. So we have to have this conversation. We have to have the hard conversations. And we just, or there's always something about money, or there's just, I don't know, kids and stuff like that. Brianna at the moment she interrupts all the time. Like, oh my gosh, just stop. We're having a conversation, adult conversation. Please let us finish because kids just running in. Mummy, I want this. Like, no, hang on. We need to sort it out. So we've never been, I suppose we had argued previously before we went away, and we were actually saying the other day that we're very different people to what we were then to what we are now. And I think you go through life experiences, things happen, things change. And I see in my coaching as well, a lot of some people get left behind. So it might be that one of you has had a career change, or one of you's gone higher in your job, but then the other person is wanting that from their job and they aren't or can't. So there's a bit of resentment there. So then that's when the arguments start as well, because you're resenting that person, your person, and there's resentment. So you feel a bit jealous and they're on a high because they've just got the promotion or whatever they've got, but you should be happy for them, but you're not because you want to be there as well. So that's a vicious circle. That's a big argument that I always see as well.
You talked about I statements. Can you just share a couple of examples of I statements that might help someone who's going through some of the problems? Money is obviously a big one for a lot of people, again, especially given kind of the current climate, the promotion thing, the career change thing. What sort of I statements can people use to help them navigate some of those stresses and arguments?
Yeah. So it's, I feel whatever the emotion is, when you, whatever the action is, and then I would like to put into place whatever you feel would work. How do you feel about this? So it's really trying to, okay, let's say about money. I feel tense when there's no money in the bank, and I feel hard done by, or I feel that we can't go out for coffee because we need that money. How can we bring in some more money together for us to feel stronger as a couple, and for both of us to feel heard and seen? So it's really trying to not pass blame, because blame is just that's where that argument starts all the time. And you're feeling and you're saying, I feel you, I hear you, and this is what I need and this is what I want for us to move through this. And then they can say the same as well. So what do they need? I feel, and carry on from that. It's really interesting, actually. It's so good. It makes you feel more confident as well when you're talking.
Yeah, I can see how that works. I think years ago, I would have been a bit of a doubter of such statements, and probably so that's just fluffy, woohoo, mumbo jumbo, very, I guess, I'm going to say typical man, probably, moreover, going, oh, that's right, I'm going to sort it all up. I've been through a divorce, so I kind of, I recognize some of that and some of the issues, and I've worked quite hard on that. What would you say to the doubters and the people who are, that shit doesn't work, that's not for me, that's what hippies do, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah. You can actually put it into, it doesn't just have to be the relationship. It can be anything. So let's do it from a work point of view. So if you are an employee and you have a meeting with your employer and you feel that there's something that's not right, or that they've pulled you up on something, you can actually say that, because that gives you power. And again, it's a woo-woo for that. You have the power within you when you do. And it's more to do with making you feel seen and heard. Because if you just go into that meeting and you just go, rah, they're not going to listen to you. They're just going to go, whatever. Okay. you feel like that, but you're talking to me like that, and I don't like that because I'm higher than you. And again, it shouldn't really be like that, but there is hierarchy in companies. But it does, it makes you feel, once you do it, the first time you do it and you get a good outcome from it, you can then believe it, and you then start to believe it more and more, and you just start to use it in everyday life. And it just becomes a thing. So yes, try it, see how you get on. I'm a massive advocate of that.
I guess you have to do it in your style as well. And I've
Yeah,
noticed this, I guess, over the kind of the last few months. AI is obviously huge. We see it on LinkedIn. That's where we met. Obviously, every post, bar very few, are all AI written. And it
yeah,
drives me insane for lots of reasons that I
yeah.
will not go into because it's not what we're here to talk about. But when you look at the way people say you should write,
Mm,
or the way you should comment, send messages, in emails, in any kind of copy, marketing copy, some of the scripts that people use feel so alien and just
yeah,
not right. And what I found is that the essence is right, it works, but you have to make it
yeah,
yours. There isn't any
yeah,
point being robotic and churning out what Jim up north says the way to get his clients to buy something completely random, which is so far removed from what I
yeah,
do. The script works, but you just have to adapt it. And I
yeah.
guess that's much the same.
Yeah, yeah, it is definitely. And I see that a lot. And a lot of people will come to me, send me DMs on LinkedIn and be like, oh, this is such a breath of fresh air. Because I do get to the nitty gritty. I really do. And I'm not fussed at all to say it how it is. And I brought it up on the last show, is that I really want people to talk about sex and relationships at a dinner party in general. What's the
Yeah.
weather like? What's your job like? How's your sex life?
Yeah.
I just want it to just roll off the tongue. And it just is, you have to be you 100% unapologetically
Yeah.
yourself in everything, in your relationship, in your work, in how you show up every day for your children, or just you in general. You have to believe that you are 100% yourself. And it drives me insane, certainly with, we're not going to go into COVID, but the whole sheep scenario. Why does everybody, the trends, that's it. We were talking the other day about trends, my husband and I. It was, why does everybody have to, and this is my bugbear, and I still need to sort it out and do one for LinkedIn, but why is everyone holding those funny, fluffy mics when it can just be clipped on you? It's like, you're just holding it. I really need to do a funny video for that. But because everyone's holding it, everyone just jumps on and thinks, oh,
Yeah.
this is good. Why am I not doing it? Why? You should be your own person. And otherwise, everybody is the same. That would just be a boring world if everyone was the same. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because nobody actually wants to be the same, but we feel that we have to
No.
kind of conform, be the sheeple,
Yeah.
and hold the mic because that's what we saw
Yeah.
someone doing who's got 1 million
Yeah.
views, and that's that's what we'd still be striving for. Never mind, actually, just fucking be me. And that is why actually I really, really like your post, and I commented on one the other day because the topics you talk about, number one, you don't see on LinkedIn. Sex, masturbation,
Yeah.
orgasms is brilliant. Like that, LinkedIn should be a place of that, if nowhere else.
It should.
But the overarching thing for me is that what you talk about, I think 99% of people on LinkedIn are suffering from in one form or another. And I think
Yeah.
that, and the reason I say it should be on LinkedIn is because that's where it should be. If that is a place where people are talking about relationships, be it business or personal, building a brand,
Mhm.
helping others, then why would you not talk about all of it? And I think the
Yeah.
taboo bit is crazy because we all have sex. We all have
Yeah.
relationships in one form or another. Doesn't matter what that looks like. But it should be talked about much more. And back to the table, and I said last time, we talk about sex around the table with my children because they're all teenagers.
Yeah.
It's all right there. My son at the minute is just like 99% filthy minded 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
quite hit puberty
yeah.
yet, but it is so close. There's nothing we can say that doesn't get turned into, oh, that's what she said, or
Oh my gosh, that's what she said. Hugo says that all the time.
everything. And sometimes it's like it's spot
Cool
on
thing.
and we really chat. Sometimes like, fuck, wrong time, wrong place. But everything is just, innuendo. And we might as well talk about it. And I think I said last time, I am more
Yeah.
than happy to have the difficult conversations with my kids because I prefer they
Yeah.
hear it from me
Yeah.
than elsewhere. And I think as you go further into adulthood, people talk about it less and less, and you must really find
Yeah.
that and struggle with it.
Yeah, yeah, I do. And I find a lot of men they want to talk about it, but they can't find the
Yeah,
words to actually talk about it. And I always say, whenever they'll message me on LinkedIn or they'll send me an email or something, the first thing I'll say is, thank you. Thank you for opening up to me. And certainly being a woman, thank you that you've actually been able to speak to me and just send out that email. That is the first step that you've taken, and thank you. Because then it allows them to think, oh, okay, actually, yeah, I can talk about this. It's going to be hard. But I did have a call, was it last week? I think it was. This guy, I won't talk about it properly, but he was struggling with something, and I was just saying the actual proper words like penis, vagina, vulva, and an orgasm, and just all the proper scientific words. I wasn't fluffing over anything. And he was just like, hang on a minute, how can you just say that so blasé? And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. There's no need to be embarrassed about it. Everyone is the same in general.
yeah,
And everyone has it. Everyone has genitals. So why can't we talk about this? And it makes my job harder because once you get rid of that barrier, then they think, oh, okay, I can actually, like when we're doing a video, you can actually see them
yeah,
relaxing a bit more. I'm just thinking, I can get this out. I can do this. Right. What is it that you're suffering with right now? And then they'll say it. And you're, oh, yeah. Okay. Now I've actually said it. I can feel better
yeah,
about it. But it's still such a taboo subject in whatever company or, yeah, wherever you are. It, it just shouldn't be spoken about. And I think last time I'd said this on LinkedIn is that I do get people saying this shouldn't be on here. And then I'll switch it back and say, okay, why will it not be on here? What's the problem? What is the issue that you have? Why are you
yeah,
being triggered? Like, yeah, that's
yeah,
true. So it's trying to reframe it in your mind and think, well, actually, no, it is normal. Animals do it. We do it. It's a normal thing. And why should it be such a taboo subject? It's not. Yeah, it is, but it shouldn't be.
yeah. Absolutely. I was on a sales training course end of last year. Didn't really want to be there, but I actually loved it. Big shout out to the Elite Closing Academy. They were really, really good. Matt Elwell is fantastic. But a phrase that he used more and more was, what you avoid creates a void. So I thought was
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Like,
That's really
great,
good. I
great.
like that.
And it applies to so much.
Yeah.
And it sprung to my mind then as you were talking, because that's absolutely right. You know, if you're not talking about it, it becomes harder and harder. And that comes back to the
Yeah.
kids as well, because if you start making it a taboo
Mhm.
from an early
Yeah.
age, then they just grow up
Yeah.
into much. And you're right. And then as a man, when it comes to struggling, you know, and being self-confident or being lacking self-confidence, it just gets worse and worse. I wrote on LinkedIn the other day
Yeah.
because I had to go for procedure or a pre-op procedure, a hernia. It's nothing major, but obviously it's quite
Oh,
low down. And I'm
yeah.
like, yay, great. Love to get my bits out in front of some random stranger. It's the second one I've had. So, you know, whatever it is, what it is. Like, you just have to deal with it. And I think as a healthcare professional, it is slightly easier because what I was writing about is, you know, it's very different when the gloves are on the other hand. And I've seen countless people, and you just have a normal conversation. You know, the number of
Yeah.
conversations I've had with semi-naked or completely naked people, and you just, you know, oh, how's your weekend? What you do? You know, it just becomes the norm.
Yeah.
But when you swap it around, it is hard. And, you know, and my wife's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, of course, it's fine. Like, I can't do anything about it. And I what's up, there's
Yeah.
the doctor. He's like, oh, do you mind if the student comes in, female student? And I can see why people say no. And I remember being a student.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, more the merrier. You know, whip my pants off, might as well just, you know, what's it matter? But I think it really just comes back to the way that people are willing to talk about it and have
Mhm.
those conversations. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
do you find anything difficult to talk about yourself?
No, not really. I think with the miscarriage,
Yeah,
Darren did. Darren really struggled with that actually because it was all about me from a healthcare
yeah,
professional side of things, and it should change, I think, as well. But we never actually did anything about it, which we need to. but it was all to do with the woman going through it
Yeah.
and not the man, or like, how's the father doing? It was always about me. How do I feel? What's my mental health like? All of that. When actually he's the one going through it as well. Yes, I was carrying it, but it's still half his. So he really struggled with that. And he's really struggled to talk about things. But then because of my veterinary background, I kind of put it in more of a natural way of thinking that if I am an animal, if I'm an animal, then it would have aborted itself because it wouldn't have been able to survive in the wild. So that was my thinking, and that got me through, as well as breath work and meditation. But for him, he felt really isolated and alone and was like, why is no one talking to me about this? And I thought, yeah, actually, that's really true, that we've never still actually done anything about it. But I don't feel that I cannot. But yeah, certainly in my 20s, I couldn't really talk. Early 20s, I couldn't really say anything. I was always quite shy, and I knew I wanted to say something, but I couldn't find the right words to do it until, I think I said this in the last one actually, until one vet, he didn't like what I did, whatever that was, I can't remember. I shouted at him. And at that point, he was like, Gemma has now got some feisty. And then since then, I've just been able to say anything. And I think that has really helped my mindset with what I do now, is that a couple of years ago, I transferred from being more of a relationship stuff into more sexual stuff and intimacy. Is that I can just say anything and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. You can say anything to me and I don't get embarrassed, or I can just say anything and it doesn't, because I feel that I'm that person to speak out and to say it. And I think that's why a lot of people come to me, because they feel that they can be open because I'm open. So just by being my authentic self has allowed me to have the business that I want, which is amazing. But yeah, a lot of people feel that they can't say it, again, in relationships, at home and at work, that it takes them a while to build up the courage to actually speak out. And then they just fluff it and they're like, I can't say it, what I want to say, it all didn't come out right. And then, then you just feel bad that you haven't actually said anything.
Yeah, and then you get angry, right? And that carries through and it makes it harder. Thanks for sharing about the miscarriage. I understand how difficult that is. Been there, been in a similar situation. And going back to Darren and his feelings and it being very woman focused, do you think some of that is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy for men? Because we don't talk about things and therefore it just gets hidden. So we don't talk about it. They're like, the man will be all right because he's a man. I know the world is moving on, but really I'm not sure it is. And it is so female orientated. And much the same with menopause and perimenopause, where it's all focused on the woman and what she's going through, not how that affects the other half of that situation and the effects that then brings.
Yeah, it's really true. And also with the perimenopause, menopause, it's all focused on the female. Whereas, as you say, there's not that much out there for males, but then they don't really understand it either. So they want to be not protective. They want to understand what she's going through, yet there isn't actually much out there for them to understand and feel part of it, because she doesn't understand it. So he then can't, or she can't say, well, this is how I feel. But also she might not be able to say how she feels because of him arguing or not understanding or feeling understood. So again, that comes back to communication and trusting each other and having active listening and nothing else around. So when you do actually need to talk to each other, you have devices off, or you just do it at the dinner table. You sit down together and eat it together and then talk about it. But with men, and I see it in my son as well, he's 12, that I don't know what happened the other day. I think he came off his bike and I went to collect him. He was in the woods with his friends and I could see he had some tears in his eyes. He didn't do anything. He got in the car. He was still fine, got home. And then Darren gave him the right to just like, it's okay, you can cry. And then it just all came out. And I just thought, that's really sad that even we are not making him cry when he wants to cry. And we're so open for this. And the other day that was all right. He possibly broke his fingers, but he didn't. He just really badly sprained them. Got back from youth club and cried. And I could see it in the car. I was like, it's okay, you're allowed to cry. I said, did you cry? And he was like, no, I didn't cry. But you need to. When it happens, this is your body's way of telling you need to let this energy out. it's a different way of letting this negative energy out. And when you do cry, you feel so much better. So men, please start crying.
My children's great granny died at 103 a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
Amazing woman. She was kayaking last summer. Amazing. Amazing. My ex-wife's grandma. And again, we're very open. All of my family are fairly emotionally intelligent. I would say, I've cried in front of my kids. I've no problem sharing. Both of them struggled with it and struggled with it in front of friends. At the funeral, at the end, obviously invited to go and kind of just say one last goodbye to the coffin, which is so hard. And my daughter said, I can't, there's so many people watching. And she didn't. And she kind of cried on me when we'd left. My son was kind of quite reticent about it. And we did. And I went up with him. And it was just a complete, absolute breakdown. He held it together the whole time through the service. And then just absolutely, which then just meant I absolutely as well. And I kind of felt bad because it's not in many respects, it's not my grief. Obviously, I've known her for many, many years. But to see your children that upset, but I think it is good to have that ability to let it out when it's needed to, discharge, as you say, some of that negative energy. And I think they are good at it, but I do think there's a lot of social pressure around that as well for boys and girls. Actually, I think, I see my daughter is probably more stoic about things and very kind of like, no, I'm not going to show any emotion. And I guess you just have to work through that. And on the flip side of that, she's awfully open about sex. And I told you a story offline last time about, things she's asked me. And I'm more than happy about that. So I think you just have to find that balance for them and let them work through it. What's the oldest age range that you've kind of worked with?
81.
Okay.
A woman, which was amazing. Actually, she'd gone through 3 husbands, as in they had all died, which is bad. But she came to me last year, I think it was, last August, and she said, I've just lost my last husband. I don't want another one, but can I do things to myself? Can I self-pleasure? I was like, of course you can. So we did some techniques and talked about that and talked about lube and different toys that she wanted, because in her heyday, there was kind of nothing like that. We went through a few toys and she thought, oh, this is really interesting. So she is still happily going along her day. And I just thought, wow, that's really cool, actually.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. That it doesn't have to stop just because you've lost someone. Or and with all 3 of them, with all 3 of her husbands, she was very sexually active. And I thought that's so good that she'd gone through menopause. And she did say, actually, I think she had menopause at 54, that she had a couple of years where she wasn't interested at all, but she made herself interested. And I think that's where a lot of women go wrong. They don't put it to the forefront of their minds, when actually orgasms are amazing at keeping you calm and really helping you through your day when you're stressed out. It releases the dopamine, the serotonin, oxytocin, decreases the cortisol levels. So when you're really stressed, highly stressed, by having an orgasm, it's amazing to actually feel that power within you to completely bring your calmness down. So she was feeling really stressed at 50 odd. And she knew that having an orgasm every day was the way to deal with it. And that then brought her back into more of, okay, I want to self-explore, but also I want to be with my husband. So it was really interesting, the things that she'd said, and then kind of brought up to date with what we could do together now. It was really interesting. I thought, why can't more people be like that from 50 to 80? It doesn't have to stop just because. But then there's the other thing, is that I deal with men where their wife is going through perimenopause, menopause, or has done already, and they're mid-50s, mid-60s, and they just don't want sex at all. And they don't want to feel connected to their partner. And I think that's why there's a lot of divorces at the moment as well, is that you just drift. Kids have maybe left home. You haven't got that purpose anymore. Certainly from a woman's point of view, I could be wrong, but you haven't got that purpose, and you just become housemates. You just become roommates. You don't actually have that physical connection anymore because you can't be bothered. But then you also can't figure out how to get it back because the communication's gone. The trust maybe is gone because one of you may be having an affair or something like that, that's come out. So it's then all of these different factors come back to that. And it might just be that you've fallen out of love with each other, and that's okay as well. So it's just trying to bring all of those back in and figuring out, where do you see yourself going as a person? Where do you see your partner going? And where do you see both of you as a couple going? And there's no right or wrong
No.
answer. Everybody's different. It's what works for you as a person and you as a couple.
I'm glad you went to that, actually, because I was going to ask, do you think that there is problems with relationships because when a woman goes through perimenopause, menopause, not interested in sex, because the communication isn't there in the first place,
Mhm.
it doesn't carry on, it stops, no sex, straying away, and that's where those rifts start to appear. And we see it in our
Yeah.
friend group, actually. And I think I mentioned to you last time, my wife and I are actually just exploring, I say starting a company, but it's not, just starting a bit of a channel around perimenopause, because it's exactly where we are
Yeah.
at. Um,
Yeah.
She really struggles because she is not sure what's going with her body. Used about housemates. It's one of the first articles we wrote on our Substack, was about feeling like housemates because she's not interested. I'm quite highly sexually active, always have been. So it's quite hard for her because she wants to interact, she wants to please, but she just doesn't feel like it. So we are talking, we're setting up some videos around how to get through that. Because again, that goes back to the men thing as well. It's not for the man, but it's so important to have that all together. We sit in our friends where I know, because the men don't particularly talk about it. Problem, bang on there. But they talk about it. And I know that a lot of our friend group don't have sex probably at all. Maybe once a month, something like that. We have sex every week, at least once, if not more. And,
Which is
and I
amazing.
think that's the way it should be. And when I hear about an 84-year-old, I'm like, great, here's to it. If I make it that long, that's still what I want to be doing. And I just think it's so important to keep those communication channels open. You mentioned orgasms. It's Mental Health Week. And I've seen you post on LinkedIn about orgasms being good for mental health. Talk to me about that.
It is. It's amazing. And it's also May is Masturbation Month. I can't even say it. But yes, because you are coming back to yourself, you have that power within you to get rid of your stresses, get rid of anything that is negative right now by having an orgasm. Now, that might mean singular, that might mean with yourself or with your partner or both of you. I get my clients to do a lot of mutual masturbation because it comes back to what you like as a person and what they like as a person and what you are telling each other where you like to be touched, because there's a lot of miscommunication there. And obviously, it's quite apparent that men don't know where the clitoris is. And I know they do. Everyone's just like makes it a joke. But that's not the point. The point of the clitoris is that it has 10,000 nerve endings, or the whole of the area has 10,000 nerve endings. And that little bit that you can just see is the top of it. Whereas most of those nerves go inside and down all the way through the pelvic region. So if yes, you are touching it, you're making sure that she is enjoying it. And it's what she is saying, looking at her face, looking at what is she doing. I think we discussed this last time, is she flushed in her cheeks? What are her eyes doing? How does she feel? What is going on? Same with the man. How are you feeling? What are all of the different thought processes? How do they feel? As in, like, what are your eyes doing? What's your breath doing? All of that kind of thing can then really communicate to each other what you are feeling. Because when you're really, really stressed out, you don't want to be sexual. You don't want to do anything. You just feel closed off. Don't touch me, and just be, I don't want this right now. But knowing that you will feel so much better when you do have an orgasm, whether or not that's with a toy or that's fingers or penetration, can be anything. But when you do, you can feel so much better, because it's a scientific thing, is that your body feels calmer and more relaxed. And it's just incredible. So it's always about switching it up for men. It depends on how you like to be touched, what you do to yourself, But then for a woman, it's very much keeping it the same. So maybe circular motion or tapping or blowing or whatever it is, keep that the same until you orgasm, until you climax. Because for men, it's very different. It might be that you go faster, harder, slower, softer, whatever it is to climax, but a woman has to stay the same. And that will give you a more of an orgasmic feeling. But then there's a thing called edging as well, which is where if you didn't want to orgasm and you focus back on that, when you just about come to orgasm, you stop, you completely stop, don't do anything, come back to the breath or come back to the 3-3-3 method. It's where I will say, right, look at 3 things in the room that you can see, 3 things in the room that you can smell, 3 things in the room that you can touch, because that brings your calmness back down again. It allows you to feel calm, and then you can then carry on again and then go back to edging again. But a lot of the time I see a lot of erectile dysfunction. Now this can happen in women as well, where the clitoris just doesn't feel like the nerves are not being fired up. Men can't get hard, they can't get an erection, or they can get half an erection where it goes soft a bit. This is where you're mainly in the fight or flight response. So your blood is staying in the heart, lungs, and brain to keep you from, like, just to keep you alive. So you're trying to escape from that particular scenario, when actually you are in a safe space. You're maybe at home, so you feel safe, but your body doesn't feel safe because you're constantly in fight or flight response. So then it's not going to activate all of the nerve endings. It's not going to send the blood down to the genitals. And that's where we need the blood. And actually, I was doing an article yesterday, and it was to do with O shot is called an orgasm shot, which is where you take blood, and I didn't know about this. You take blood from the arm, usually like just a blood sample of 6 to 8 mils, and then that gets spun in a centrifuge, and then it separates the plasma platelets, and then that gets injected into the vulva and vagina, and that can last for 12 to 18 months. So then that allows you to keep that blood fresh down there. It allows all of the nerve endings to open up. It allows the possible, if you've got vaginismus, where your muscles are so tight, it can bring fresh blood supply and oxygen down there to release all of these to this tightness. It also helps with pelvic floor. So if you've got urinary incontinence from bouncing on the trampoline, from having children, it can help with that. And I thought that's so interesting. But it also helps with orgasms because it's keeping the blood in that area. And when you do feel stressed, the blood will stay down there, and it won't, you need to still be in a calm state for it to happen. But it's just an incredible thing. I thought, wow, that is cool that we've got that scientific based thing that will actually happen. But then for men as well, it's the same. If you feel that you're stressed and you constantly think, I want to climax, I want to come, your body is then already in a fight or flight response because you're willing it to finish.
Yeah.
And that then makes you soft because the blood has then gone straight back up to the heart to run out the situation. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big thing. But coming back to that, after all that, it is really good for mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's incredible, isn't it? The body copes and works to help us. And I think a lot of the time we spend our time fighting what actually is there to help us and increase the way we feel and make it feel better. Why do you think there is such a taboo over masturbation and people feel that they kind of have to on their own, as it were, and not with partners?
Because it's seen as dirty in society, and it really shouldn't be. And again, that comes back to, we spoke about it last time, as Victorian style things going on there. Yeah. And because it's seen as dirty, and even now it is, that it's becoming more common to actually talk about it. But again, it's still such a taboo subject that it should be spoken about more, just in general friends groups and things like that. But again, you feel dirty doing it because you're actually coming back to your body and you're doing something to your body that you shouldn't be doing because society says no, where you then need to because you feel better, and you know that you need to because you then will feel better. But again, it's just such a taboo subject that you feel that you cannot say anything or do anything, and you just have to do it in private. But then it also comes back to when we were teenagers, it was always when you were exploring your body, it felt that you had to do it in private, that you have to do it under the covers and nobody could see what I was doing. So it then is an ingrained thing that you just do because you feel that you have to keep it quiet, and then it just becomes a habit. So it's trying to get over that habitual thinking and thought process and just making it normal. And actually it is in our house. Darren will just go like, right, I'm just going off to do some things. I'm just, yep, I'll be in the bedroom if you fancy it. Like, yeah, that's normal. It's fine. But most of the time people do it maybe once or twice a week or every
Yeah.
day, but we just don't talk about it. And we should. You should just do it as part of your well-being
Yeah.
routine. Well, you do it anyway, but just say, oh, I'm going to the gym. Oh, I'm just going to
Yeah.
masturbate. It's something you should just roll off the
And
tongue.
do you go and do the same?
Yeah. Yeah. We just have it
That's it.
have it in our
Yeah.
vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the time we'll be like, yeah, okay, I'm
Yeah.
coming. I'm coming downstairs as well.
Yeah. Is it the same with using sex toys and other aids in the bedroom as well, that people kind of still feel it's, it's not quite right? Maybe it's cheating. Maybe it's, it just seems a bit funny. That's what other people do. Is there still that feeling?
There is, yeah. There's still that taboo subject of, oh, I can't use this, or this is a bit weird, or again, it's societal meanings of, yeah, BDSM might mean, oh no, that's a bit weird, that's a bit out there. Fantasies, all of that kind of thing. If that fantasy is a bit weird, but it's not for you, it is for someone else. But again, that's societal. If you don't like it, that's fine, but someone else is allowed to do it. So it's knowing what you like as a person and just letting it go. But yeah, sex toys, they can just be out on the nightstand. You can get so many beautiful ones now on the bedside table that like crystal glass, or they're just stunning, some of them. And they should just be out and just be allowed to
Yeah.
be part of the furniture because they do look beautiful, some of them. But yeah, again, it's like, oh no, they should be going away. They should only be in the bedroom. Or I think I touched on this last time, they can actually go in the dishwasher. My mum was popping over a bed for that way.
Yeah, I think, my mother would have certainly a freak out. Mind you, she wouldn't know what half of them were, to be honest, I'm sure. Not really. She's of a very different
There was that
generation.
as well. Yeah.
She's
yeah.
80 something, but but not like the previous you mentioned 80 something. That's for absolute sure. Do you think that's the same with, I guess, kinks and fetishes as well? And do you work with couples who one may have a particular persuasion of something and the other doesn't? How do you
Mhm,
speak to people about that and get them to
mhm.
understand how that works?
Yeah, again, it's always active listening. Whatever their fantasy is, and they'll say it, why are you pushing back? Why don't you want to try it? As in, like, that can go back to food as well as with the kids. It's like, how do you know you don't like it if you haven't tried it? If you haven't tried it, you're never going to know if you like it or not. But when you do try it and you're open to it, if you don't like it, that's fine, but have a traffic light system in place. So have a green, orange, red of, okay, I feel okay at the moment, whatever it is that you're doing. Green, I'm staying green. Or I'm not sure, this feels a bit orange. Okay, let's scale it back until you feel green. Oh no, that's red. Don't like that at all. Let's come back to orange or green. So it's about communicating together, being open, honest, raw, and real together. And also, the person with that kink or fetish, where does it come from? Now, a lot of people have foot fetishes, they don't understand where that's come from. But in the brain, the part of the brain that is the genital nerves ending nerve system and the foot system are very close together, and sometimes they can cross wires. So it means that if you touch your foot or someone touches your foot, your genitals then feel, oh, that feels nice. So there's that not contamination, cross wiring in the brain that thinks, that's why I've got that. That's why I've got a foot fetish. So if someone touches my big toe, I feel aroused, or someone touches the bottom of my foot, the sole of my foot, I feel aroused. That's why, because there's cross wires in the brain. So it's then saying to yourself and figuring out why you like this specific fetish, saying to your partner, using I statements, saying to your partner, this is my fetish. Okay, I know it's a bit out there, it's a bit weird. How do you feel about trying it with me? Because I feel safe enough, I trust you enough, I trust you 100% that I want to share this with you. And I want our intimate life to come on even more, would you be open to trying it? So if it's a hard no, okay, let's scale it back. Why is it a hard no? Why are you being triggered to say no straight away? What is it? Let's work
Yeah.
from that. What comes back to it with childhood trauma or childhood issues, or just in general, what have you had and learned from your childhood that is a specific no, I don't want that. So it's both sides understanding each other, working backwards as to what has happened in the past, and trying to be open, honest, raw and real to actually get this specific fantasy off the ground if both are happy.
I think it is fascinating though. If someone is really against trying and the partner says, right, well, I'll go find it somewhere else, do you think there is a
Mhm.
place for that? Is monogamy normal, not normal? Is, swinging that side of lifestyle? Is it all part of who we are and society's just brought us down to monogamy? It's always interested me.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting more common now, and more people are talking about it, which is amazing. And yes, you as a human shouldn't be with the same person forever. And it's like an animal. We're actually an animal. Animals don't stay with the same partner. Actually, I think swans do and
Yes, yeah,
dolphins
there are
do.
a couple on there that,
Yeah,
penguins, I think, is the other one.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. But there is more to explore, definitely. And again, it's being open, honest, raw, and real with each other, where if one of you is a hard no, okay, have the conversation. How would you feel if I got my fix somewhere else? Talk about it. You are not allowing me to have that full sexual experience because you can't give it to me, and that's okay. How would you feel if I was to get that somewhere else? You can come, you can watch if you want to, you can, if you don't want to know about it, that's fine. But also, and I deal with this quite a lot, is that the people that don't want to do it then will say, no, that's not right at all. I can't do that. I don't want to be with you. If you're going to do that, we need to
Yeah.
divorce or we need to split up. But why? You're then denying that person that you love a certain thing that they want to try. So they're going to resent you no matter what that is. So if you work through your triggers of why you feel that you can't give that to them, not personally, why can't they go somewhere else? And then it's then, okay, yeah, I feel like this. If you wanted to know every single detail about it and you were okay with that, that's fine. You can know every single detail. If you didn't and you just wanted to turn a blind eye, that's okay as well. So it's, again, when they come back from that, talking and being open, honest, raw, and real. I liked it. I didn't like it. This is what happened. This is didn't what happened. I wanted this to happen. Just allowing that person that you love, they want that, but you don't want that. So it's a very difficult
Mm.
conversation to have, but also being open to each other and being open to actually maybe thinking, okay, we'll maybe try webcamming or try and go to a massage place or a spa or a swinging place, seeing what you like, but also communicating. Now, it takes a lot of communication, definitely. And if one of you is pushing the other, they're not right, it's very difficult to actually wait and just be strong and safe. So again, it does take a year or so of those communication or the conversations to actually happen and for you both to feel safe and both to feel open, and just start slow. So maybe a webcam session, finding someone originally first would be a text message or can we meet up for coffee? How do you feel? Do you want to do it on your own? Do you do it as a couple? Do you want a woman? Do you want a man? Do you want both together? How is it gonna end up? You need to know the person first. You need to trust the person first before you completely get your clothes off and have that coffee, have that first meet, go for a walk, discuss what you all want within what you're aiming for, and then come back as a couple, talk about it, understand each other. Okay, we think that this person might be the one. How can we then move forwards? Do they like what we like? then you can then start to, okay, let's have a webcam session. How do you feel about this? Okay, let's get them over, or we can go over to theirs. How does that feel? So it is about more communication. You can actually do it as more of a like a sex party. There are so many of those around now. And again, you don't have to just go all in. Just go tell everybody this is your first time. They will be understanding. They've done it probably a
Yeah.
long time, so they will there be understanding. And they might not, they shouldn't. They shouldn't push you into it. You decide as a person, but also as a couple as well. So again, communication, listening always comes down to that trust as well.
I was just thinking, communication, and we said this last time as well, and I'm sure we'll say it before we finish today, but communication really is the start of everything and really should be throughout everything we do in our lives. If we start that communication, start it young, start it properly, it makes everything so much easier as you go forward. And that is certainly something that I see now in my second marriage far more than I ever did
Mhm.
in my first.
Yeah,
If I'm honest, that's the truth of it. I think I was
because you've
very
learned.
young, arrogant, idiotic. Um, but now I recognize that and we communicate much better. And we
Yeah,
do, we still have arguments about things. It's not
yeah,
perfect. It's not, always good,
yeah,
but we do
yeah,
communicate far better, I think, and understand each other more than I ever have done with anyone else. All the travels that you
yeah.
did and early on and since are them countries that are far more free in their sexual liberation, as it were, than we are here in the UK. Because I get the impression that we are very staid.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, Thailand, definitely. Anything goes.
Yeah, I've never been actually.
But yeah, I think it's more of a Western
Okay.
thinking, a Western way of
Yeah,
thinking. And certainly Africa, Africa is just, certainly in the tribes, they're just amazing. They're just all there. And, but then also religion is a massive thing
yeah,
as well. So I'm not really going to get into that, but it's very different as to which religion you're in and what you believe in to where it goes with the sexual side of things. So yeah, I'd certainly say Thailand is very open-minded. You can do what you want. Yeah, I don't know anywhere else. Like, we've done quite a lot of Europe,
yeah,
and they're all kind of the same. I think it's obviously a different way of life. Certainly the Mediterranean,
yeah.
that's all very calm, collected, everyone's just chilled. So that may be slightly different. I don't know. But yeah, because we're so uptight all the time, we're so whizzing here, there, and everywhere. Certainly down south in England, it's very whizzy. You have to be here, there, and
Yeah.
everywhere. You have to rush around. Up north, I think it's very different. But I think it is. It is a taboo subject that needs to be open a lot more and just be talked about and just be allowed to be
I
free.
think we're talking about Scandinavia this week at some point, and they seem very liberal. I spent a lot of time as a kid in Sweden, and have
Oh, yeah.
done since with work at various times. And they just are more free, more open. Saunas, for example, nakedness in
Yes.
saunas is just, I remember that's just norm. It's just what it is. No one cares. It's not even
Yeah.
talked about. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
And I think we are very repressed in this country. Um,
Mhm.
I would say that making it taboo, the repression that we have, actually makes it much harder. And that forces
Yeah.
people down the pornography route, down maybe the harder side of kinks and fetishes. What do you
Mhm.
think about that?
Yeah, it does. Because if you're not freeing in your body and you feel that you have to be clothed, certainly at home, can you be naked in front of your partner? Can you be naked in front of your children? We are. And my son, he's going through puberty at the moment. So we're seeing a change in him and he's not bothered at all. He's quite happy to be naked. And I think that's such a good thing because you then haven't got any body
Yeah,
shame. It may be different in a few years, but I don't know, because we're
yeah,
open and we're quite happy to be naked from the bedroom to the shower, or just in general having a chat being naked. If you're just going about to get in the shower and one of them wants something, you just run around the house naked. It's more of a taboo if you haven't been brought up like
yeah.
that and you've got that stigma in your mind of I can't do that because my parents didn't do that. So it's harder to bring it in. Whereas if you are open and you are open to trying new things, then you can have different conversations about it. You can be more open to just different things. Body changes. Certainly when I was pregnant, my body changed completely from first pregnancy to second pregnancy. And it's just very different. I used to have a 6-pack before Hugo. That
Thanks,
went.
Hugo. I'm going to use that excuse as well. I used to have a 6-pack with 4 kids.
But it's more to do with how you feel as a person, but then also social media has a massive impact. And well, when we were kids, it was more magazines, wasn't it? Being on the cover of magazines, you had to be stick thin, you had to be model. You modeled yourself on that model, whereas now kids are modeling themselves on the social media influencers and things like that, and that drives me mad.
Yeah, really struggle with that. As I said, 4 teenage kids, all at very different stages, all very different sizes and shapes, and that makes it is very tricky. I was listening to the news the other day, and they were talking about the World Naked Bike Ride,
Oh yeah.
and nudism as a whole, I think, is over worried about. If I'm entirely honest, don't get me wrong, I don't walk around my house naked. I just don't. It's not. I would and I could, but I don't care that people do, and I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. And they were talking on the radio, and they had 2 people on. One was very kind of pro it, and the other was like, "Oh well, it's disgusting. My children might see it." And I just think, get over yourself.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
And what really makes me chuckle about it, the day of our wedding 2 years ago, we got married in central London at the church next to Tower of London, where my dad was the vicar.
Oh, amazing.
So that was it was super special. And I'm a big rugby fan, can't stand football. And we'd worked really, really hard to make sure that nothing was on that day. So no one was on their phones trying to sneak away to a TV. And I certainly didn't want to miss any rugby. So we worked really hard. 2 weeks before, I was listening to Chris Evans, and him and Vassos were talking about it. And like, oh yeah, well apparently the World Naked Bike Ride is on the 8th of June. Hope I've got the date right.
In London.
And they start here. And I'm like, oh, shit. So there I am. I look it up on my phone, and sure enough, it is indeed the same day. Not only is it the same day, but one of the 3 points where they meet in London is Trinity Square, right opposite the church, setting off at about 1:15, 1:30, as we're coming out the church. So I took a screenshot and I sent to Stacey. I'm like, can you believe this?
I love that.
And we just were so funny. So I called her photographer. She's a friend of the family, and a boudoir photographer as well. So nothing. She's like, great, this is going to be amazing. Yeah. I'll send you some pictures. I might put some up as well because it is really very funny. So as we come out of the church, there's a big kind of dais, big flat bit that overlooks the Tower of London and Tower Bridge. And as we come out, starts the World Naked Bike Ride, right outside. So we went down to the pavement in our attire. With all these naked cyclists going past us. The kids and all the family were looking over the balcony. It was just, made such just fun. We got interviewed on some random YouTube channel. And so all these naked people behind us. It just is what it is. I think the biggest thing that people said about the whole thing is, number one, it really kind of made the day. I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of them are riding the Boris bikes.
Cool.
Why don't they put something on the saddle?
Yeah. You just sounded like
was the biggest complaint, I think, about the whole thing. But I just look at that, and going back to the piece on the radio, I just think, what's it matter? No one's, no one's having sex in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
It's men, it's women, it's all sorts of people just riding a fucking bike. Yeah. And to be honest, I can go, Jesus, that just looks uncomfortable. And I just think we have such a strange sense of what it means. And it's not dirty. It's not about paedophiles. It's not about abuse. Yeah. I know all of that happens.
Yeah.
But that would happen regardless.
Yeah.
Didn't we just make a rod for our own backs and make it so to be?
Yeah. But look at animals. They're not looking at each other thinking, oh, you're naked.
No.
They just get on with their day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they don't care. Yeah, it amazes me. And it goes too far. And I think I might have commented on one of your posts on LinkedIn. When I worked in hospitals, I worked in cancer care. And I remember searching for breast cancer something. And the hospital system blocked it. I was trying to find some academic papers about breast cancer. And because I used the word breast, the hospital filter stopped it.
That's nuts. In a hospital, that's just
Come on,
ridiculous.
like,
Anything goes on.
you know, am I likely to be searching porn sat in the middle of the hospital? It's just amazes
Yeah.
me.
That is
Yeah.
so annoying.
Look, thank you so much again for sharing
You.
everything. I think it's such a fascinating topic. And again, I think communication is everything, and it clearly all starts back there.
Just be 100% unapologetically yourself. Go and have that orgasm. Go and self-masturbate. Go and just enjoy your body for what it is, with all of its wobbly bits and wrinkles and all that lot. Love it 100%. And yeah, just show up as you and don't copy anyone else. And just be you. Communicate as well.
And I guess really there's very little we can do about our bodies. I can get the six-pack back
Yep.
maybe one day. It's unlikely. But everything, you know, we are what we are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Gemma, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best moving forward. More awards coming, I am absolutely sure. And I'll make sure that there are links to the work that you do on the episode description. And thank you. And here's to seeing more of you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a really good chat.
Thank you ever so much.